Hey there. Tonight we're traveling back 2,000 years. Not to the marble halls of emperors or the grand triumphs you've seen in movies. No. Tonight, you're going to become something far more real, far more brutal. You're about to live as one of Rome's legionaries, Europe's first true professional soldiers. Men who signed away 25 years of their lives for a promise of land they might never see. Welcome to another journey through history they never taught you in school. Before we begin, let me know in the comments where you're watching from and what time it is for you right now. Your stories from around the world always fascinate me. So, dim the lights, get comfortable. Let the weight of your blankets remind you how fortunate you are to be lying there, safe, warm, far away from the mud and blood of ancient battlefields. For the next hour, you won't be yourself. You'll be Gaius. Just another number in the 4th cohort, 10th Legion. Your story begins in 15 BCE, and it will be nothing like the glory you imagined when you took the oath. This is the real story, the one carved in blisters, hunger, and the screams of dying men. Close your eyes. March with me now. You are 17 years old, standing in the Forum Romanum, with calloused hands clutching a worn tunic. The recruitment officer barely looks at you. He's processed 40 men today already. Your father was a carpenter who died when a scaffold collapsed. Your mother remarried a baker who made it clear there was no room for you. So here you stand, your entire future condensed into a simple question. Can you march 20 miles carrying 60 pounds? You nod. You've never carried 60 pounds in your life. The officer doesn't care. He marks your name, Gaius Marcellus, on a wax tablet. You are now the property of Rome for the next 25 years. The oath comes next. Words in Latin you barely understand, but you repeat them anyway. I swear by Jupiter Optimus Maximus. Your voice cracks. The other recruits snicker. The officer hands you a wooden practice sword and points toward the Campus Martius. Training starts tomorrow at dawn. Don't be late. That night, you sleep in a cramped barrack with 19 other recruits. The straw mattress is thin. Someone is already snoring. Someone else is crying quietly. You stare at the ceiling and wonder if you've made a terrible mistake. Outside, Rome bustles with evening commerce, wine shops and laughter. You're no longer part of that world. You belong to the Legion now. Sleep doesn't come easily. Tomorrow, they will begin breaking you down. Dawn arrives like a slap. A centurion storms through the barracks, beating his vine staff against bunks. Up, worthless filth, up! You stumble outside into the freezing morning air, wearing nothing but your tunic. 50 recruits stand shivering in formation. He's maybe 40, with a face like scarred leather and eyes that have seen things you can't imagine. I am Centurion Marcus Valerius Rufus, he announces. For the next 6 months, I own you. When you finally halt, your lungs are burning, your legs are shaking, and you want to die. That was the warm-up, Rufus says, dismounting. Next comes the drill. Marching in formation. Left, right, for hours. Your feet blister. The sandals cut into your ankles. When someone breaks formation, everyone runs another mile. By midday, you've learned your first real lesson. Individual suffering means nothing. The Legion is everything. Your second week. The blisters on your feet have burst and reformed into calluses. Your hands are bleeding from gripping weapons. Every muscle in your body screams. But you're no longer the weakest. 4 recruits have already been dismissed, sent home in shame or died from exhaustion. You've survived. Barely. Today's lesson is the gladius, the short sword that will become an extension of your arm. Centurion Rufus demonstrates on a wooden post. Thrust, don't slash. The gladius is not a barbarian's weapon. It's a tool for close-quarter butchery. You stab into the ribs, the belly, the throat. You withdraw, and you stab again. He makes it look effortless. When it's your turn, the post doesn't cooperate. Your thrusts are weak, off target. Your arm tires after 20 strikes. Rufus walks behind you. You feel his presence like a storm cloud. Again, he says quietly. You thrust. Again. Thrust. Your enemy won't wait for you to catch your breath, Gaius. Again. Thrust. Your arm is numb. The sword drops. Rufus doesn't yell. He simply picks up the wooden gladius and places it back in your hand. Once more. You thrust. This time it's solid. The post shudders. Better, Rufus says, moving on. That night, you can't lift a spoon to eat your barley porridge. Month 3, formation fighting. This is when you learn that the Legion doesn't care about heroes. It cares about the wall. 40 recruits stand shoulder to shoulder with rectangular wooden shields locked together. The testudo, Rufus shouts. Tortoise formation. When arrows rain like storm drops, this is your only prayer. You raise your shield overhead. The recruit beside you does the same. Your shields overlap, creating a continuous shell. Your arm burns immediately from the weight. Rufus climbs atop the formation and walks across your shields. This is unity, he roars. If one shield drops, arrows find the gaps. If one man breaks, the enemy floods through. You are not individuals. You are one organism. Then comes the test. Auxiliary archers fire blunt-tipped arrows at your formation from 30 paces. The impacts sound like hail on wood. Some arrows find gaps. One strikes your shield with such force it nearly tears from your grip. Another recruit screams as an arrow clips his exposed leg. But the formation holds. 20 minutes. Your arm wants to quit. The shield feels like a slab of granite. But you hold. Because the man beside you is holding. Because if you drop your shield, he dies. This is the lesson Rome burns into your soul. The Legion is invincible only when it moves as one. 6 months gone. Today is the day you've dreaded and anticipated in equal measure. The forced march. 20 Roman miles, roughly 18.5 modern miles, carrying full kit. Except you don't have full kit yet. That would be too merciful. Instead, you carry 60 pounds of stones in a pack, plus your wooden weapons and a stake for building camp fortifications. The entire recruit cohort sets out at dawn. Centurion Rufus rides ahead. No one speaks. You learned months ago to conserve breath. The first 5 miles feel manageable. Your body is hard now, conditioned. But by mile 8, the straps are cutting into your shoulders. The weight shifts with every step, throwing off your balance. By mile 12, you're in a trance. Left foot, right foot, left foot. Your mind empties of everything except the rhythm of marching. Another recruit collapses at mile 15. Rufus doesn't stop. The cohort marches past him. You hear the boy calling out, begging. No one looks back. That's another lesson. The Legion waits for no one. At mile 18, your vision starts to narrow. Tunnel vision. Left foot, right foot. You can see the finish point, wooden markers in the distance. At mile 19, you nearly fall. But the recruit behind you, Marcus from Campania, steadies you with a hand on your pack. You nod. You can't speak. Mile 20. You cross the threshold and collapse. Your training is complete. Today, you exchange the wooden sword for real steel. The armory is a long stone building that smells of oil and metal. The quartermaster is an old legionary with missing fingers on his left hand. He doesn't ask your name. He measures you with his eyes, decades of experience sizing up bodies, and pulls a lorica segmentata from the rack. This is the segmented plate armor that defines Rome's legions. Iron strips riveted to leather, designed to protect your torso while allowing movement. He straps it onto you. It weighs 30 pounds. You thought you were strong. The armor humbles you immediately. Next comes the helmet, the gallia, with its distinctive neck guard and cheek pieces. It limits your peripheral vision. Then the scutum, the massive curved rectangular shield, 4 feet tall and 2.5 feet wide. It weighs 22 pounds. Finally, the gladius, real iron. 19 inches of double-edged death. The pommel fits your hand perfectly. The quartermaster also gives you the pugio, a dagger, and 2 pila, the weighted javelins designed to bend on impact. You walk outside wearing everything, 70 pounds of equipment. This is what you'll wear for the next 25 years. This is what you'll march in, fight in, die in. Centurion Rufus watches you struggle to stand upright. "Welcome to the Legion, Gaius," he says. There's no smile, but his tone carries something that might be respect. Your first posting. The 4th cohort, 10th Legion, is being deployed to Germania. You've heard stories about the forests there. Trees so tall they block the sun. Tribes so fierce they eat their enemies. You've heard about Teutoburg Forest, where 3 legions were destroyed. But you don't have time to be afraid. You march north from Rome through Italia, over the Alps into Gaul, then toward the Rhine frontier. It takes 40 days. You march 16 miles per day in full kit. The legion moves like a vast serpent. 5,000 men, plus auxiliaries, cavalry, mules carrying supplies, camp followers. At night, you build a fortified camp from scratch. Ditch, rampart, palisade stakes. Every single night. This is why Rome is invincible. Every night, you sleep inside a fortress. You share a tent, the Contubernium, with 7 other legionaries. Marcus from Campania, Titus the joker who never shuts up, Quintus the cook, Lucius the veteran of 5 years. 3 others whose names you're learning. You cook together, eat together, sleep side by side. These men are your family now. Your blood family doesn't exist anymore. On the 37th day of marching, you see the Rhine for the first time. It's wider than any river you imagined. Dark water moving fast. On the far shore, Germania. Trees as promised. Darkness. Somewhere in those forests are the tribes who butchered Varus's legions. The Rhine fortress is called Vetera, a permanent legionary base. It's nothing like Rome. Wooden walls 20 feet high, guard towers every 100 feet. Inside, barracks, granaries, workshops, a hospital, a headquarters building, and endless mud. Your cohort is assigned barracks in the north sector. The building is long, drafty, and perpetually damp. Your contubernium gets 1 room, 12 feet by 12 feet, for 8 men. There are no beds, just raised wooden platforms with thin straw mattresses. Your possessions fit in a small chest. Extra tunic, spare sandals, a whetstone, a few copper coins. This is your home for the foreseeable future. Life at the frontier is not the glory you imagined. Most days you don't fight barbarians, you build. You build roads through the forest to push Roman influence deeper. You build watchtowers. You build grain storage buildings. You dig latrines. You repair the fortress walls. You're not a warrior. You're a construction worker who occasionally kills people. The routine is brutal and monotonous. Dawn, roll call. Morning, drill and training. Midday, meal. Afternoon, labor or patrol. Evening, weapon maintenance. Night, guard duty. Every 4th night, you stand watch on the walls for 4-hour shifts. In winter, which is most of the year in Germania, you stand in the freezing darkness listening to the forests. Sometimes you hear wolves. Sometimes you hear things that might not be wolves. Your first patrol beyond the wall. 10 men from your contubernum plus a decanus, squad leader, named Silvanus. You march 2 miles into the Teutoburg forest at dawn. The trees are different here. Massive oaks and beeches that interlock overhead, creating perpetual twilight. The forest floor is soft with centuries of fallen leaves. Fog clings to everything. You can't see more than 50 feet in any direction. Rome's power ends at these trees. Here, the rules change. Hours into the forest, Marcus steps on a buried stake, a trap. It punches through his sandal and into his foot. He goes down without screaming, which shows training. Silvanus examines the wound. "Pull it out," he orders you. You grip the stake and pull. Marcus nearly bites through his leather lip to stay quiet. "Walk or die here," Silvanus says. It's not cruelty, it's reality. Marcus walks. You return to Vatira 5 hours later. The forest didn't kill you today. Winter at the Rhine. This is your first Germanic winter, and it's trying to kill you. The temperature drops below freezing and stays there for months. The barracks offer minimal protection. Wind slices through gaps in the wooden walls. You sleep in all your clothes, plus your cloak, pressed against your contubernian brothers for warmth. Still, you wake with frost on your breath. The Rhine freezes solid. This terrifies the senior legionaries because it means the tribes can cross without boats. Guard duty becomes excruciating. 4 hours in the darkness, wearing armor that conducts cold into your bones. You can't feel your fingers after an hour. You can't feel your feet after 2. Soldiers are dying from the cold. Not many, but enough. Frostbite turns toes black. Some men lose fingers. The worst part isn't the cold itself. It's the knowledge that if the tribes attack, you'll have to fight while your body barely functions. You couldn't grip your gladius properly if your life depended on it, which it does. Rations are cut because supply wagons can't reach the fortress. The Danube route is impassable. You eat watered-down barley porridge twice a day. Your body begins to consume itself. You're losing weight. Everyone is. But spring is coming. That's what you tell yourself while standing guard at 3 in the morning. Frost crystallizing on your armor. Spring finally arrives, and with it comes war. The Cherusci tribe, led by a chief named Arminius, is raiding Roman supply lines. Your legion is ordered to respond with punitive force. Burn their villages, take prisoners, remind them of Rome's power. You march out with 3 cohorts, about 1,500 men. It takes a day to reach the first Cherusci village. It's not much, a collection of thatched roof houses surrounded by a wooden palisade. The assault is quick. The legionaries form testudo and advance. Arrows from the village bounce off your shields. The palisade is torched. It burns fast, dry wood catching like kindling. You push through the gate. This is your first real combat. A Germanic warrior appears, screaming in his language. He's massive, 6 feet tall, bare-chested despite the cold, swinging a long iron sword. He's also unarmored. Your training takes over. You thrust with your gladius while staying behind your shield. He parries. You thrust again. He's strong but uncoordinated compared to Roman discipline. Your third thrust finds his stomach. He goes down. You step over him, advancing with the formation. The village is chaos. Civilians running, warriors fighting without coordination. It's over in 20 minutes. The centurion orders prisoners taken, women and children mostly. The fighting-age men are dead or fled. You stand in the burning village, blood on your gladius. This is what you trained for. You're learning what war actually means. It's not glory. It's boredom interrupted by violence. After the raid on the Cherokee village, your cohort establishes a forward camp in hostile territory. Every night, you build the fortifications. Every morning, you tear them down. March, build, sleep, repeat. Then scouts report a larger Cherokee force, maybe 300 warriors, gathering 10 miles north. Your legion moves to intercept. This will be your first proper battle. The legions arrange in standard formation. 3 lines, the Hastati up front, Principes in the second line, and the Triarii, veterans, in reserve. You're in the first line. The Cherokee warriors gather on a hill opposite your position. They bang weapons on shields, their war cries. It's meant to frighten you. It works. Your hands are shaking. Marcus beside you. Jupiter, protect us. Then the centurions give the order. Javelins! You hurl your pilum, the heavy javelin. 1,500 pila arc through the air. They crash into the Germanic line. Men fall. Shields become useless, weighted down by embedded javelins. Advance! The legion moves forward as one organism. The Cherokee charge down the hill. Your training dissolves into primal terror. They smash into your line. You thrust your gladius into chaos. Flesh, blood, screaming. A face, a throat, a chest. Time becomes meaningless. Then it's over. The Germanic warriors break and flee. You're still alive. After the battle, you learn the true cost of victory. Your cohort lost 37 men. More than 100 are wounded. You sit in the medical tent watching the Cavalry, the legion's medics, work. They're amputating a legionary's arm. He's biting down on leather while they saw through the bone. You can hear everything. The cohort burns its dead with proper rites. Each man's ashes are collected in an urn. The legionaries recite their names. When it's time to march, the urns are loaded onto mules. They'll be buried at Vatira. You carry a secret now. During the battle, you froze. Just for a moment, maybe 2 seconds, but you froze. A Germanic warrior was charging at you, and you couldn't move. Marcus killed him. Marcus saved your life, and you never acknowledged it. That night, you try to sleep and can't. Every time you close your eyes, you see the face of the man you killed. Not the one Marcus killed, the one you killed. His eyes were blue. He had a scar above his left eye. He was probably your age. He's dead because you stabbed him in the throat. This is what makes you a soldier, you realize. Not the training, not the equipment. It's this. Learning to carry the weight of men you've killed.
3 years pass on the frontier. You're no longer a raw recruit. You're a veteran now, though veteran feels like too grand a word for someone who's 20 years old. You fought in 4 major battles and dozens of skirmishes. Your contubernum has changed. Titus died last winter from disease. Not glorious, just dysentery in the latrine. Quintus lost his left hand to a Cherokee axe and was discharged. 3 new men have joined to replace losses. You don't bother learning their names for the first month. Attachment is a liability. But you're still here. Marcus is still here. Lucius is still here. You've learned the rhythms of frontier life. Summer, campaigns into Germania. Winter, surviving. Spring and fall, construction and drilling. The Legion is building a road through the forest, a monumental project that will take years. Every day you cut trees, move earth, lay gravel. Your hands, already calloused from weapons, develop new calluses from shovels and axes. The locals call the road the Serpent because it winds through impossible terrain. You call it the endless fucking road. You're promoted to immune, exempt from routine labor because of your experience. Now you're assigned more dangerous duties: scouting, forward patrols, special detachments. It's technically an honor. It mostly means you're more likely to die, but the pay is better. You're saving for the distant dream of your discharge, 16 years from now. Year 5. A messenger arrives from Rome with new orders. The 10th Legion is being redeployed. Not to Rome, you never expected that luxury. To Pannonia, the Balkans, where tribes are raiding with increased frequency. The entire fortress at Vetera mobilizes for the march. 5,000 legionaries, auxiliaries, cavalry, and camp followers. The baggage train alone stretches for 2 miles. You march south through Germania and Gaul, retracing steps you took 5 years ago as a recruit. But everything is different now. Then you were terrified of the future. Now you're simply tired. The march takes 53 days. You establish camp every night with the mindless efficiency of long practice. Dig ditch, build rampart, sleep, wake, march. When you cross back over the Alps into Italia, you feel nothing. When you pass within 50 miles of Rome, you don't ask for leave. Rome isn't your home anymore. It stopped being home the day you took the oath. Pannonia is hostile territory, forested mountains and river valleys where local tribes resist Roman expansion. Your legion establishes a new fortress on the Danube called Carnuntum. It's smaller than Vetera, rougher and more dangerous. The Pannonians don't fight like the Germanic tribes. They use guerrilla tactics, ambushes, night raids, disappearing into mountains. Your first week in Pannonia, a patrol from the 2nd cohort gets ambushed. 20 men dead. You're assigned to the Revenge Expedition. The Revenge Expedition moves into the mountains with 200 men. The goal is simple. Find the Pannonian warbands that ambush the patrol and destroy it. You march for 3 days, following trails that might not be trails. The Pannonian mountains are different from Germanic forests, steeper, rockier, with less cover. On the 4th day, your scouts spot smoke from a valley below. The cohort sets up on the ridge. Through the trees, you can see a Pannonian settlement, maybe 40 structures. The centurion orders a dawn assault. You spend the night on the cold mountain slope, no fires, no talking, just waiting in the darkness. Dawn comes grey and cold. The cohort descends in silence. The Pannonians have sentries, but they're watching the valley approach, not the mountain ridge. You're 50 feet from the settlement before the alarm is raised. Then it's chaos. The legionaries burn everything. Wooden structures ignite quickly. Warriors fight back with spears and bows. It's a massacre, not a battle. The Pannonians are brave but disorganized. The legion is a machine. You're part of that machine now, killing without thought. Thrust, withdraw, advance. Thrust, withdraw, advance. When it's over, you've taken 43 prisoners and killed the rest. The centurion interrogates the prisoners to find out where other warbands are hiding. Rome doesn't negotiate. Rome punishes. You've been on the frontier for 7 years now. 7 years of your 25-year enlistment. 18 more to go. Sometimes you do the math and want to scream. You're 24 years old and you feel 60. Your body is breaking down. Your right knee, the one you twisted 3 years ago during a forced march, aches constantly. Your left shoulder, dislocated in a battle and poorly reset, has limited range of motion. You've lost 3 teeth to fights and poor nutrition. Your hearing is partially gone in your left ear from standing too close when a ballista misfired. This is the reality they don't tell recruits. The Legion consumes you slowly. Even if you survive battles, the daily grind destroys your body piece by piece. The medical tent is always full of legionaries with chronic ailments. Joints that don't work, backs that won't straighten, feet mangled from marching. The Cavalry do what they can, but Roman medicine is limited. Most treatments involve wine, prayer, and hope.
You're wealthy now by legionary standards. 7 years of pay, bonuses from successful campaigns, and loot from raids. You've saved almost 3,000 sestertii, enough to buy a small farm when you discharge. If you survive 18 more years. That's the constant calculation. Is the land at the end worth the cost? Some days you think yes. Most days you're too tired to think about it. Winter comes to Pannonia, and with it comes disaster. The Danube freezes solid. The Dacian tribes from across the river see opportunity. On a moonless night in late December, 3,000 Dacian warriors cross the frozen Danube and attack Carnuntum. You wake to the alarm bell. Chaos. Half the legion is unprepared, men stumbling out of barracks in their tunics, grabbing weapons. The Dacians are already inside the fortress. They scaled the walls while the guards were sheltered from the cold. This is the nightmare every frontier legionary fears, the enemy inside your walls. You grab your gladius, no time for armor. You run toward the sound of fighting. The fortress courtyard is hell. Dacians and legionaries fighting in the darkness, no formations, no organization, pure survival. You see a Dacian warrior hacking at a wounded legionary. You charge without thinking, driving your gladius into his back. He falls. You turn. Another Dacian. You parry his spear thrust with your bare forearm. The spear cuts deep. You stab him in the throat. The pain in your arm is distant, unimportant. More Dacians. You're fighting 3 at once now. You take a club blow to your side. Ribs crack. You keep fighting. Marcus appears beside you, then Lucius. Your contubernium forms a small circle, fighting back to back. This goes on forever. Finally, the Dacians break and flee. By dawn, you've driven them out of the fortress. You survive the Dacian raid, but 243 legionaries don't. The fortress is a disaster. Walls breached, granaries burned, barracks damaged. Your injuries take weeks to heal. The spear wound to your forearm becomes infected. The capsari debride it, cutting away dead flesh, while you bite down on leather. The broken ribs mend slowly. For 6 weeks, you can't wear armor. You can barely breathe without pain. But the legion doesn't stop. Repairs must be made, defenses strengthened, retaliation planned. As soon as you can move without wanting to scream, you're back on duty. 3 full cohorts, auxiliary cavalry, and siege equipment. You spend a month burning Dacian villages and crops. It's not warfare, it's systematic destruction. You're not proud of it. You're not ashamed either. You're numb. This is what Rome does. You're the tool Rome uses. The campaign ends with a major battle against a Dacian army of maybe 2,000 warriors. Your legion crushes them. The Dacian king sues for peace. Rome dictates terms, tribute, hostages, and the acknowledgement of Roman dominance. You march back to Carnuntum. The fortress has been rebuilt. Life returns to the grinding routine. You're 25 years old now, 10 years served, 15 to go. The halfway point approaches. Year 11. You're 30 years old. Most of the men you enlisted with are dead. Marcus is still alive. He's been promoted to Optio, second in command of your century. Lucius died 2 years ago from disease. New names have filled your contubernium. You're the senior member now, the veteran who's seen everything. New recruits look at you with awe and fear. You're what they hope to become and what they're afraid of becoming. A scarred, damaged survivor. The legion is rotated again, this time to Syria, the eastern frontier, where Rome faces the Parthian Empire. The march takes 4 months. You cross the entire empire, Pannonia, Dalmatia, across the Adriatic by ship. You're sick for 3 days. Through Greece, across to Asia Minor, finally to Syria. The heat is unbearable. You've spent your entire military career in cold regions. Syria's sun is an enemy you're unprepared for. The first month, 12 legionaries die from heat exhaustion. You learn to drink water constantly, to wrap your head against the sun, to march in the early morning and late evening. The enemy here is different too. Parthian cavalry, mounted archers who can shoot while riding at full gallop. They don't engage in pitched battles. They harass, retreat, harass, retreat. It's maddening. You can't catch them to kill them. Your first engagement with Parthians is a disaster. Your sentry is on patrol when Parthian cavalry appears. The Parthian patrol costs your sentry 32 men. You weren't one of them. An arrow punched through your shield and grazed your helmet, but you survived. Again. You always survive. It's starting to feel like a curse. The Syrian posting is different from Pannonia or Germania. The cities here are old, older than Rome. Damascus, Antioch, Petra. You see architecture that makes Rome look young, but you also see how thin Roman control is. The locals tolerate Roman presence, but don't love it. Banditry is constant. Religious factions fight each other. You're not fighting barbarians here. You're occupying a civilized but hostile region. Your role becomes more about policing than warfare. You raid bandit camps. You guard tax collectors. You break up riots in cities. It's dirty, unglamorous work. One day, you're ordered to suppress a food riot in Antioch. Hungry locals are attacking grain warehouses. Your sentry forms a line with shields and pushes the crowd back. You're not supposed to kill civilians, but sometimes it happens. Today, a young man, maybe 18, same age you were when you enlisted, throws a rock that strikes your centurion. The centurion orders you to grab him. You do. The boy fights. You drag him before the centurion. Make an example, the centurion says. You know what that means. You draw your gladius. The boy's eyes widen. He's terrified. He reminds you of yourself at 17. You hesitate. The centurion is watching. You thrust. The boy dies.
You've been in Syria for 3 years. You're 33 years old and you've served 14 years. 11 more to go. Every day you think about quitting. Desertion crosses your mind constantly. The punishment for desertion is execution, but some days death seems preferable to 11 more years of this. What keeps you is simple: the money. You've saved 7,000 sestertii now. That's enough for a good farm, animals, a comfortable retirement. If you desert, you lose everything. So you stay, you kill, you patrol, you guard, you survive. Then news arrives that changes everything. The emperor is dead. Tiberius, who's been emperor your entire adult life, has died. His successor is Caligula, a young man the legionaries have never heard of. Succession crises are dangerous for the frontier. There's always uncertainty. Will the new emperor honor veteran land grants? Will he continue military pay? Will he purge the officer corps? Your legion waits nervously for news. 3 months later, word comes. Caligula is confirming all previous commitments. The legions breathe easier. Life continues. But you've learned an important lesson. Your future depends on the whims of politicians in Rome you'll never meet. They can cancel your land grant with a signature. They can extend your service. They can send you to die in some foreign land. You have no control. This realization changes you. You stop caring about anything except survival and money. Year 16. You're 35 years old. 9 years to go. You're assigned to a special detail, escorting a tax collector through the desert to remote villages. It's a month-long assignment. Your squad is 10 men. The tax collector is a freedman named Philippus, who's never been outside a city. He's terrified of everything: the heat, the bandits, the locals, the soldiers. He makes you and your men sleep outside his tent at night for protection. You hate him. The assignment is mind-numbing. Walk to a village, wait while Philippus calculates taxes. Some families can't pay. Philippus has you confiscate property, grain stores, animals, sometimes people as slaves. You're an instrument of Roman taxation now,
Not a soldier, a tax enforcer. On the 17th day, bandits attack. They hit you at dawn while you're breaking camp. There are maybe 20 of them, local tribesmen with spears and bows. Your training takes over. Your squad forms defensive circle around Philippus. The bandits charge. You kill 3 men in as many seconds. It's reflexive now. Thrust, withdraw, thrust. No thought, just execution. The bandits break and flee. You've lost 2 legionaries. Philippus is unharmed and grateful. He promises to write a commendation. You don't care. A commendation doesn't shorten your service. That night, you sit alone, staring at the stars, wondering who you've become. You barely recognize yourself. You return from the tax collection detail to find your legion has orders to return to Rome. Not to be stationed there, that would be too good. You're marching to Rome to participate in a triumph. The new emperor, Claudius, has conquered Britain, and the legions involved are being honored. Your legion isn't one of them, but Claudius wants impressive numbers for his procession. So you march west. 4 months through Syria, Asia Minor, Greece, up through Italia to Rome. You haven't seen Rome in 18 years. The city has grown. New buildings, new temples, new forums. It's beautiful and alien. You don't recognize it. More importantly, it doesn't recognize you. The citizens see the legionaries marching through and they cheer. They throw flowers. They call you heroes. But they don't see you, the limping, scarred, broken man you've become. They see the idea of a soldier. The triumph is spectacular. You march through Rome in full equipment. The streets are lined with hundreds of thousands of people cheering. The emperor watches from a platform. For one day, you're celebrated. Then it's over. The legion is ordered back east to Syria. You march out of Rome the next morning. No celebration, no fanfare, just another march. You realize that Rome doesn't care about you. You're a tool. When you break, you'll be discarded and replaced. That's the reality of professional military service.
Year 20. You're 39 years old. 5 years to go. You can see the end now. It's close enough to taste. 5 more years and you get your land, your savings, your freedom. You're assigned to a construction detail. The Legion is building a new fortress in Syria's interior. It's brutal work in brutal heat. You swing a pickaxe all day despite your damaged body. Your right knee swells to twice normal size. The pain is constant. The Cavalry give you wine and willow bark. It barely helps. You work anyway. What choice do you have? One afternoon, you collapse from heat exhaustion while digging. You wake up in the medical tent. The Cavalry tells you you're being given light duty for a week. You protest. Missing work means missing pay bonuses. He ignores you. A week later, you're back to construction. But something has broken inside you. Your body is failing. You know it. Everyone knows it. You're an old man at 39. The younger legionaries look at you and see their future. Some ask if it's worth it. You tell them yes. You're lying. But what else can you say? That you've destroyed your body for a plot of land you might not live to enjoy? That Rome consumes soldiers like firewood? That the glory is a lie? They'll learn soon enough. That night, you count your savings again. 13,000 sestertii now. 20 years of blood and pain converted to coins. You fall asleep counting. You dream of a farm you've never seen. Year 22. You're 41. 3 years to go. You can count the days now. 1,095 days. You count them obsessively. Every morning, it's one fewer. The Legion is involved in a border skirmish with Nabatean raiders.
Your cohort is deployed. You shouldn't be here. At 41 with a destroyed body, you should be on garrison duty. But the Legion is undermanned. Everyone fights. The skirmish is brief. Nabatean cavalry raids your camp at night. You're sleeping when the alarm sounds. You grab your gladius and stumble outside. You can barely move. Your knee locks up in the cold night air. A Nabatean horseman charges you. You can't dodge. You raise your gladius. The horse crashes into you. You go down. Your helmet saves your life. The horse's hoof strikes it instead of your skull. You're trampled, but alive. The horseman rides past. Marcus kills him. You lie in the dirt, unable to move, wondering if this is finally it. But it's not. You survive. Again. The Capsarii tell you you have cracked ribs again, a concussion, and worsened knee damage. You're off duty for 2 weeks. During those 2 weeks, you realize something. You're not going to make it to discharge. Your body will give out first. You've seen it happen to other veterans. They serve 23 years, 24 years, then they die. A heart gives out. An old wound reopens. Disease takes them. You're racing against time now. 3 years. 1,095 days. Can you last? Year 23. You're 42. 2 years to go. 773 days. You're reassigned. Not to combat. You're finally too broken for even Rome to use in battle. You're assigned to administrative duty at the fortress. Record keeping, inventory, processing new recruits. It's humiliating. You're a soldier. This is a clerk's work. But your body has made the decision for you. You sit at a desk in the headquarters building while younger men march and drill and fight. You process their deaths on parchment. Name, rank, cause of death. Next. Name, rank, cause of death. Next. The names blur together. You realize you've processed the deaths of over 1,000 legionaries in your career. 1,000 men you knew, ate with, fought beside, all reduced to ink on parchment. Your own name will be on such a report someday. Some clerk, maybe the broken veteran who replaces you, will write, Gaius Marcellus, legionary, died of... what? Old age? Disease? A body finally giving up? You don't drink anymore. The wine makes your stomach rebel. You don't whore. Your body doesn't work that way anymore. You don't gamble. Every coin is precious. You exist. You count days. 773 days. You can make it. You have to make it. Your savings are now 15,000 sestertii. Enough for a good farm. Land. Animals. Peace. If you can just survive 2 more years. Year 24. You're 43. 1 year to go. 365 days. You can taste freedom. It's so close. But now you're terrified. What if something happens? What if there's another war? What if the Emperor changes the discharge rules? What if you die in the final year? The fear consumes you. You've become superstitious. You avoid risk obsessively. You don't leave the fortress unless ordered. You don't volunteer for anything. You've survived 24 years through luck and skill. Don't tempt fate now. Other veterans about to discharge feel the same way. There's a phrase, short-timer syndrome. Men near the end of service become paranoid and cautious. The legionaries mock them. You don't care. 365 days. During this year, you watch 3 men die within months of discharge. 1 from disease, 1 from a construction accident, one from a Navitian arrow during routine patrol. You process their death reports. You imagine processing your own. You become obsessed with your health. Every ache is a potential disaster. A cough that won't go away becomes consumption in your mind. A fever is the plague. The Cavalry is sick of you. He finally tells you, Gaius, you've survived this long. Relax. You can't. 365 days becomes 300, then 200, then 100. You count every single day. You stop eating full meals. Your stomach is too nervous. You lose more weight. You're a ghost haunting the fortress. The final 6 months. You're so close. You can see the finish line. But Rome has one more cruelty for you. The Legion is being reorganized. Veterans due for discharge are being held for an extra month to train replacements. 1 month, 30 days. After 25 years, what's 30 more days? It's everything. It's torture. But you have no choice. You're assigned to train recruits in basic sword drill. You stand in the training yard with your cane, watching boys swing wooden gladii. You remember being one of them, scared, eager, young, alive. You try to teach them. Thrust, don't slash. The gladius is for close work. Stay behind your shield. Trust your formation. They don't listen. They never listen. They think they're special. They think they'll be heroes. You were the same. One recruit asks you how many men you've killed. You don't know. Dozens? Hundreds? You stopped counting after the first year. Enough, you say. You don't elaborate. What could you tell him? That killing becomes routine? That you'll see their faces forever? That the glory is a lie? He'll learn. They all learn. If they survive. The month crawls by. 29 days. 28. 27. Finally, the day arrives. The discharge ceremony. You and 43 other veterans stand before the Legion. The legate reads your names. He hands you a bronze diploma, proof of your service and citizenship rights. He hands you a sack containing your savings, 15,000 sestertii, 25 years of service reduced to metal and parchment. You are dismissed, the legate says. You are no longer a soldier. You are no longer Gaius the soldier. You are Gaius the veteran. The distinction is profound. You leave Syria with other discharged veterans, traveling together for safety. The journey back to Italia takes 5 months. You move slowly. Your body doesn't allow anything else. When you finally reach Italia, you purchase land. Not near Rome. You want nothing to do with cities. You buy 40 acres in Campania, in the countryside. Good soil, a stream, a small house that needs repairs. It costs 10,000 sestertii. You have 5,000 left. You buy seeds, tools, chickens, a goat. You hire local workers to help repair the house. You're 44 years old, physically broken, but finally free. The first night on your own land, you can't sleep. You're not used to silence. 25 years in the Legion, always surrounded by men, always on edge, always ready for violence. Now? Silence. Crickets. Wind in the trees. It's terrifying. You get up and walk your property in the darkness, holding a stick like it's a gladius. By the second week, you're planting. Your body rebels. Bending to plant seeds sends lightning through your back. Your knee gives out repeatedly. Your useless left arm makes every task twice as hard. But you work. You plant barley, wheat, vegetables. You tend the chickens. You milk the goat. You repair the roof. It's the hardest work you've ever done because your body is broken. But it's your work, your land, your life.
Your first year as a farmer is brutal. You quickly learn that you don't know how to be a civilian. You don't know how to talk to people who haven't seen combat. You don't know how to relax. You don't know how to stop scanning for threats. The local villagers are kind but wary. You're obviously a veteran. The scars make it clear. Veterans have a reputation: violent, unpredictable, haunted. You try to fit in. You attend the local market to sell eggs and vegetables. You nod to neighbors. But at night, when you hear a loud noise, you grab your knife and crouch in the corner. When dogs bark unexpectedly, your heart races. You can't control it. One night, a local farmer's dog wanders onto your property. In the darkness, you don't realize it's a dog. You hear movement. Training takes over. You grab your knife and go outside. You nearly kill the animal before recognizing it. Your hands are shaking. You sit in the darkness, holding the dog, apologizing to it. This is what the Legion did to you. You plant crops, but you don't care about the harvest. You're just trying to fill time. The days are too long. Your mind wanders back to Syria, Germania, Pannonia, to men who died, to men you killed. You dream every night. The dreams are always the same: combat. You wake up in darkness, reaching for weapons that aren't there. You are free, but you are not at peace. You wonder if you'll ever be at peace. Year 3 on the farm. You're 46. Something changes. You meet another veteran in the village market. His name is Sextus. He served in the 8th Legion for 25 years. He's been farming for 10 years now. He recognizes what you're going through because he went through it too. He invites you to his farm for wine. You go. For the first time since discharge, you talk to someone who understands. You talk about the dreams, the hypervigilance, the inability to relax, the guilt, the faces. Sextus nods through all of it. It gets better, he says, slowly, but it gets better. He introduces you to other veterans in the area. There are 6 of them, all farming, all struggling in their own ways. You start meeting monthly. You don't talk much. None of you are good at talking. But you sit together, drink together, exist together. It helps. Knowing you're not alone in this. The farm improves. Your crops yield better each year. You're learning. You buy a second goat, more chickens. You hire a local boy to help with heavy work. You're building something, slowly. Your body is still broken, but you've adapted. You use your cane efficiently. You've learned to work around your useless left arm. You're not the soldier you were. You're not the boy you were. You're something new, a survivor who's learning to live with survival. Year 5 on the farm. You're 48. You're not happy. Happiness feels like something from another life, but you're stable. Your farm produces enough to live on and save a little. You've built a small shrine on your property, not to the official Roman gods, a private shrine to the legionaries who didn't make it back. You remember their names. Marcus, promoted to Optio, killed by Dacians in year 17. Titus, died of disease at age 22. Quintus, lost his hand, discharged, died 5 years later from infection. Hundreds more. You light incense at the shrine every morning. It's your ritual, your way of honoring them. One day, a young man appears at your farm. He's 17, thinks he wants to join the Legion. He heard you're a veteran. He wants advice. You look at him, sees yourself 31 years ago. Eager, stupid, doomed. Don't, you say. He's surprised. Veterans usually encourage enlistment. Find another way, you tell him. Any other way. He asks why. You show him your knee, your useless arm, your scars, your missing teeth. This is 25 years of service, you say. This is what Rome gives you in exchange for your youth. He leaves, thinking you're bitter. Maybe you are. But a month later, you see him working in his father's shop. He didn't enlist. Maybe you saved him.
Maybe you didn't. You go back to your farm, you plant, you harvest, you survive. It's enough.
Year 10 on the farm. You're 53 years old. You've outlived most of the men you served with. Sextus died 2 years ago. His heart gave out in his sleep. 3 other veterans from your monthly gathering have died. Cancer, stroke. Bodies that survived war but couldn't survive age and accumulated damage. You're one of the last ones left. Your farm is prosperous now. The local boy you hired is now a young man, 25 years old. He manages most of the heavy work. You oversee, plan, manage. You've become a farmer in truth, not just a soldier pretending. You've taught yourself to read better. You buy scrolls from traveling merchants and read in the evenings. Histories mostly, stories of Rome's conquests. You recognize the lies now, the glory, the heroism. You know the reality behind those conquests. Mud, blood, screaming, and men breaking down over decades. One evening, a Roman official visits your farm. He's doing a census. He asks about your service. 25 years, 4th cohort, 10th Legion, you say. He asks if you're proud. You think about it. Pride? That's not the right word. I survived, you say. That's all. That's everything. He writes it down and leaves. You sit on your porch, drinking wine, watching the sunset. Your body is failing. Your knee is worse. Your back aches constantly. Your right arm has arthritis. You won't live to be old. The Legion saw to that. But you survived. You made it out. You got your land. You're free. It was worth it, you think. You hope. You are 57 years old. It's winter in Campania. You're dying. You know it. The Cavalry you finally consulted told you, your heart is failing. Your body has endured too much for too long. You have weeks, maybe months. You're not afraid. Death is just another thing that happens. You've seen it so many times. Now it's your turn. You sit on your porch despite the cold, wrapped in blankets. Your hired man, he's been with you for 15 years now, takes care of everything. The farm will go to him when you die. You've made that clear. He's earned it. You think about your life. 57 years. 32 spent free. 25 spent in service. The 25 defined you more than the 32. You close your eyes and you're not on your porch. You're 17 again, standing in the Forum Romanum, taking the oath. You're marching through Germania. You're fighting Dacians. You're watching Marcus die. You're counting coins. You're surviving. Always surviving. You open your eyes. The sun is setting. It's beautiful. You've seen thousands of sunsets over dozens of battlefields and camps, and this one farm. This one is the last. You think about whether it was worth it. 25 years of your youth traded for land and freedom. A fair trade? You still don't know, but you survived. That counts for something. You die 3 days later in your sleep. The hired man buries you on your land, on a small hill overlooking the farm. He places your gladius, the one you carried for 25 years, on your grave. You are at rest. And that's where we'll leave Gaius tonight, resting on his hill, overlooking the land he earned with 3 decades of service, survival, and unimaginable cost. You're still here, warm in your bed, safe in a world where you don't have to trade 25 years of your life for basic security, where broken bodies aren't the price of land, where survival itself isn't the highest achievement. Let Gaius's story drift away now. Let the weight of those years dissolve. Let sleep find you easily, knowing that you, at least, are free. Rest well.